Afternoon, welcome to another video in the Clean Architecture Artful Coder series. In this video we'll be looking at doing the full CRUD in our Blazor UI. So in our previous video we created our web API with full CRUD operations. So in here you got services, we've got car service. We created a full set of CRUD operation for our Blazor for our web API. So what do we need to think about? Well, if we just run up the solution is probably the best way. So if we go to debug and start this is a good way to recap. So the previous videos we built this solution up from the ground. So it's just going to run up now. So we can see that's our web API. We've got an API there that's got full operation support. And if we spin up our Blazor UI, if we go into here, debug, start new instance, a second, there you go. So we've got a simple cars mechanism that just basically loads a load of cars up, but what we really want is a way to delete them and then edit them. So by this I mean that what we got at the moment, we've got a simple couple of fields that's make a model, which isn't all of our fields in our UI, but we just focus on those two things to build something basic out. And we might want to style this up and change it slightly, but what we're going to do is we'll start with the delete. So what I'm thinking, or the edit. So we'll start with, there's a couple of ways you could do this. So in commercial experience, I've done it where you click an edit button on the row, it takes you to another page with an embedded delete function, asks you confirm it, and off you go and you delete it. So we could go down that track. We could have an edit functionality off here with a delete built in there. It just goes back to the cars. So that's one way. Or you could have a little pop-up when you click a button, it pops up, choose a make and model. It's all depending on your preference and how you want to do this. There's different ways to do things, and there's different ways of doing these things. It's entirely what business context you're doing it in. I think pop-ups work quite nicely for certain things, especially if you've got like categories and list items. You might have a list of categories here, then manage items, and up pops a nice Blazor component in a modal that says here's add them all in, which I've done that in practice. So let's get started. So we need to think about what we want to do first. Do we have a delete and an edit here? Let's do the delete. Let's do a delete on here. That'll be our first bit we'll do. We'll give a way to delete them top level. So what we're going to need is in our UI is we've got a notification modal, and we want a new component because what we're going to do is we want a confirmation. And what I mean by this is when we click the delete button, we want a way to say, are you sure you wish to delete effectively? And then within that component, we're going to have the parse service, and it's going to delete it and then navigate back to the main, the cars page. So let's have a look at Cars Razor. And we've got a notification modal there. And we're going to need the navigation manager in here as well at some point. So what this does is what the navigation manager allows us to do is go from one page in the browser to another as part of Blazor. So we'll just leave that over there for a minute. So we'll just have a look. And okay, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to need to do is create a new component. And what this component is going to do is effectively it's going to allow us to delete cars. So let's have a look at that. Yeah, so okay. And then we want to do something after we've added it. So this might be that we basically navigate back or we go forwards. Okay, so we're going to have that there. So let's make a start. So let's have a confirmation first. So let's do add razor component. And this is going to be, install this, confirm, delete, razor. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the notification mode as we'll want something similar to this as well. So let's go to confirm, delete car. There. And should show, yeah, we can have modal there. And this is going to be called confirmation. And if I don't have caps lock on, just call it confirmation. And we'll just do this. Warning. Are you sure you wish to delete? And here, once deleted, there is no way getting this back. There. And what we're going to have in here is we want two inputs. So this is hide modal. So we'll leave that there. That's fine. We'll leave that in there to borrow that. But this is delete car. And this is button. We'll have the prime. We'll have that as a secondary. Let's have this as secondary. And let's say primary is yes and no. Okay, so let's save that. So we've got two bits here, so we just create a new class as well. Class, we'll call this confirm delete car CS, and it's going to complain that it needs to be a partial class. Okay, so we've got a little bin built there, and we'll just go in here and have a look at this. So we don't want a message, we just want these two here. So let's just copy that. Yeah, we'll have a show, we're going to have a variation of this anyway. So let's go into confirm delete car, bring this across. Okay, so when we show it, we're going to pass in int car ID. And we have a property of protected int car ID. Let's get set equals, let's just leave that there and do that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set car ID equals there, and that's kind of all we need to do. So that's going to show our confirmation. Got hide, so we don't want, so if we hide, let's just say we set the car ID in this to 0. Just for consistency, we don't need that, it's because we added it. This is a new component, so we take comments out. And the last thing we'll need is the actual logic. So we need a function, and we're going to need this. We're going to need equals. We'll do. Let's see how we get on. Let's just leave that there a second. And we're just going to save that, and we're going to have a protected, protected void delete. And we're not going to pass the ID on that. We're going to come down here. So we should now have delete car. But why is it complaining? Doesn't oh no, it's picked up just a bit slow because we've got a big project. So if we go back to our cars, where is it? I'm looking cars. We need to inject a couple of things in here. So we're going to need the car service, because what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to delete the car. So let's inject into this component our car service. And this will allow us to actually delete the car from within the component. Yes, you could pass in your class and then have your handle function. And yes, if you want to reuse this, you probably would do have a common way to pass it back. So we're not going to worry about it, as we're only using this in this place at the moment. Okay, so that in said, we have a basic modal which injects a car service. And the last thing we want to do as well is we're going to want to add in a navigation manager, because what we want to do is when we deleted the car, we want to navigate back. So let's have a look. So let's say inject and say private navigation manager. Done. And let's just keep this. So there you go. So it knows what it is. We inject that in there and we can navigate off our actual page. So let's go and look at our cars.cs. So we want a similar thing. This is what it's going to do. So within our service, we don't have the actual delete functionality. So we're going to need to do this. So that is what we need to do as well. We need to build this out. So there's a couple of things we do. So we've got a cars response, get cars response. There's a bit of plumbing to do. So let's add class and call this delete car response. And what I think we need to do is this is going to inherit from base response. So let's just copy it all out. In my experience as a software engineer, is it's better to code bits in modular sections. The reason I say this is because you don't want to be doing a load of work over one place and it's full, and then you have to remember where to go back. So let's just say delete it. Okay. So if we go back to our car service, this is what we've got in here. So it passes up the car, bish bash bosh, off it goes. So, and what do we do? So when we had a car, we pass back the response to the calling application. So the difference we've got is we're just going to pass an ID over delete, and we're going to delete a car. So let's copy this one here. And let's say in here, KS, no harm in copying code as long as you can decipher what it's doing, so you know what you need and what you don't want. So method, edit. And this is delete car async. I'm going to pass in int ID. Keep it like that, because then what we can do is we can string interpolation. There you go. And car service, and this is HTTP client dot. Oh, we haven't got that in our HTTP client. Let's just save that a minute. We want, so what is it doing when we do that? Let's have a look. So our service. So it's doing all these bits over here. Yes, it passes in that, and we need a delete async. So let's have a think. So let's do 7.24.24 line below added, and the reason we click this overwrite for our functions, and let's do HTTP response. Where's response message? message, and it is okay. We're not posting any data, so we don't need to worry too much about. We're just using the URL. So delete async, and it's because it is just a URL. We're not doing anything else with it. So if we go back to our service now, and we can now say dot. There you go. So what this is going to return back is a server object, and we want task delete our response, and we're going to say, we'll say, let's say delete our response, and we're just going to simply deserialize it back to a bool. Okay, and we want to say delete car response, if we can get hold of it. And we want to do, we're just going to see, we're going to say is not null. Okay, we can't do that, so we just basically say it's going to force it to a Boolean. So we'll just set it back either way. So what we do is copy that there and say dot deleted, and that's all we're saying, because yes, it's a server object, but we're saying that pass it back there, and copy that there, and we're going to have to do something else as well, because we don't have a deleted response. So if we go to our file response handler, we want to copy this into here, ks 07.04.2024 method below added, copy that down there, go over to this, copy this out, not there, in here, and add, let's say, delete response. And that's going to pass down. It will keep it, just for essence of speed, will keep it consistent. Let's go pass it back. Yes, you want to rename all this, but I'm trying to cram so much into the short video. And then it's going to be delete our response. Okay, so why is that? Because also, you have to do this as well. This is why, this is what we call abstraction of our interfaces in this. So let's go back here and put AS into line below added. You can't put async in this, people, so I know what you're thinking. That's why there's async, because interface doesn't alert. It needs a body or an await command, and it confuses it. So we've got that built in. So if we go to that, we're going to pass back deleted, and let's just go back up to our application. It doesn't do, yes I do. So there you go, she's going to pass back a bool, and that's all we're setting it back to. It's fine, so we've got that there, we've got that in there. So let's go and have a look at our confirm delete car, and we've got our service with the delete method in. We pass the ID and we use string interpolation to pass it back. So what we can do next is we could kind of go into here, and we're just going to copy this, but we're not passing a DTO. We're going to keep it very simple in here. So we need a notification in here. This is just to speed it up. So let's just delete car. That's a use case. So if we go back to here, and we're just going to paste it in, and the thing we're going to have is we're going to have car ID, and we don't want that there. We don't need a valid input, so let's rip some of this out. You could have valid input for IDs, which is fair enough. And we're just going to do that. And we don't have a notification in here, but we will do. So we're going to say dot delete. Why is that not picking it up? Dot. Okay, we're missing something. So what we're missing in the interface, we're missing the delete. So what we're going to do is copy this across here. Good thing about abstraction, make sure you add it in the right places. So let's say KS 0704.24, line below, added, paste that in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that off there. We're going to do that there. So we've now got our method in there, same as that. And we can now do delete async. And all we're going to pass into it is car ID because it's a car ID. And we're going to work this out shortly, so don't worry too much. Pass in the car ID, there's other ways to do this. Pass it in there, and we want to navigate if it's successful. So why is that still oh, we're missing async method. Okay, so that should work. Let's do task service. It is async, so why is it complaining? Anyway, let's do the rest of this before we okay. Right, so a couple of other things we need to do is we need to go into the front end, and let's go to cars, and let's add in here notification modal into our confirmation delete. It's a good thing about reusable components, you can put them anywhere. So let's just do that and do save. And then if we go back to our cars, we'll just borrow notification modal because it's the one we're using. Just going to go back to our confirmation delete, put it up here. There you go. That'll shut that one up. And it's not liking that still, but we'll work that out. Let's do, go to definition. Okay, right, we will get to working out why that's doing that, but for now we'll just wait and get it ready. Okay, so we've got our delete car response there, so we've got a confirmation. The last thing we want to do is we want to go somewhere after we've done this effectively. So what that means is we want to go off somewhere else and we just want to navigate back to our route. So let's go look at this. So this is what we want to navigate back to. So if we go into our little widget over here, what we're going to say is if it is successful, we're not going to get the cars, which you could do and you could pass it back to object. We're simply going to say navigation manager dot navigate to, and it's slash cars. Okay, so in a nutshell, that's done. But we got to then plumb this in. So this is a self-contained little unit of code. And let's just do this. So delete this dot. Oh, it's me. Oh, yes, we'll do that. That's why it's not on, because technically if you're using a wait within a function, remember to mark the method as async. Okay, so what we've now got is we've got our delete. So we're going to plumb this into our cars. So what we need to do is a couple of things we need to do is we need to do a couple of things to plumb this in. So let's go to confirm car delete at rep equals my confirm delete. It would help if I didn't have delete modal. And we're just going to do that. And we need a class of that behind our code. So we're going to say down here, private confirm. We just want to go back to the razor. Okay. Let's go back to cars and let's call this here and do get set. Okay. Right. So this is looking pretty good. So what do we need next? We need a localized function to handle the delete. So let's go back to our cars. So what we want is we're just going to put an extra column in here. And we want TD. We want to say input type equals button. We want to say at on click equals, and what we want is we want handle confirm delete car, and it always says car dot car. Oh yes, okay, this is where we need to put that in. Okay, so in a car DTO we need a let's just do AS 07.04.24 line below added. We didn't do this already, so let's just public int ID. Okay, so we've got an interface. We also need it in our DTO models. So we're going to copy this up here and say 07.04.24 line below added and do public int car ID, it's singular. Okay, so let's just save that and let's go back to where were we? Cars.razor. So do car ID. There you go. So we've got on click there. Why is it not like an input? As an input. No, it's not like an input, is it? It's not like it, right? Let's just say that. Is it not working that bit? No, it doesn't like that. Okay. But it's that there. That. Yeah. We've got that there. Let's try a button. Take type button out as well. We're going to try that. And what we'll say here is we'll do that and we'll say delete. Do it with input or button, doesn't matter. And then we can say class equals btn, that's danger. Okay. Does not exist in the current context. So where's that going? Not sort like that, you idiot. Okay, we don't have this function. Okay, so we've plumbed that into there. So let's go to behind the scenes now. Let's create a new method. Yes. 07.04.2024 method below added protected async. I'll say int ID, and all we're going to simply do is we'll wrap it in a try catch, and then we can catch that later. I say anything we do some kind of action is best to put in a try catch, even if you don't initially do stuff with it. So we're going to say here is all we're going to do is say call this dot show modal. which you could make it more descriptive, the ID. And that's it. So that's it. So we don't need async there because we're not awaiting that modal code. So let's just save that. Okay, yes. So what you have to be careful is you may get this error. And the way around that is what you do is we've done this somewhere before, if I remember correctly. So let's go back to his on here. Unclick, so because you're passing a parameter in, you have to basically get round that. So what we can do is that's just a simple delete car, it's in context, we're happy with that. So what you need to do is go into here, is do that. And that should, there you go. So by doing that, it creates it as a not as a Lambert expression as opposed to a function, as opposed to that. So we don't need that. Let's just do, where's the other one? So it's expecting something somewhere. Oh, okay. So we've now plumbed in our confirmation. So what we have to be very careful of is, what we're not careful, but we need to also consider is down in our CSS, we've got this. So our modal, so we just basically need to do some extra bits here. So we always want the notification, and is it Z index off that? We'll play about that modal contact. And what we'll do here is we'll say KS 07.04.24, and let's say sections below added. Okay, so let's just drop that in there and do that. And I think it's z-index. Let's just set it to ridiculously high because we always want that to be over. And we can say, and what did we call it? Let's go back down here. And let's call my confirmation. Go back to CSS. You could use classes here, it's entirely up to you. And we'll set this to, I'll paste that in there, but we'll say 49999. No, not higher. So we've got 6 there, we've got 6 there. That's it. Okay, so shall we actually try running this up and just seeing what we get first before I do too much? So let's do debug, start new instance, web API should run without problems. Okay, so we've got a web API, look, there you go, so that's up there. And we just want to do this, debug, start new instance. Let's see what we get. Okay, so nothing's changed. Go to cars now, it gives it a second. So if we do delete, there you go, and I did mistype it. You say no, simply hides it. You've got a nice pop-up delete button there. So will it actually delete it? Thinking about it, has it done it? Okay, we've got a glitch. Has it deleted it though? Oh, it has deleted it, but it won't navigate. So what have we got wrong? So let's investigate. So if we go to our confirmation delete car, so we've got navigation, but are we setting in there our 200? Because we're not showing the message, response is 200. So let's go back over to here and let's go to our car service. We're setting that there, so technically it should have redirected, but I'm not sure why it's not done that. But you get the idea, it's deleted that. So what we want to do is check why that hasn't actually worked. So let's have a think about this. So we've got navigation manager. You don't need to do anything with that. We don't need to do anything with it. It just basically handles it and off you go sort of thing. So let's have a look. So we've got that in there now. Why didn't it navigate back to cars? We haven't got, we get the response, we pass it back. It has actually deleted the car, so let's go back to here. Navigate to cars. Tell you what I'm going to do is, where's that? Let's go to cars. Cars. That's the page. We just want to navigate back to cars. So let's run that up again and see if we've got anything in the messages. Okay, so let's just do debug. Start. This is what half a code is sometimes. It's going through working out. This is why you could probably get down more testing routes now, but you get the idea of what we're trying to do. So our web API is booted up. So if we go to here and give it a second. Okay, so if we delete, is it because that modal can't go backwards or something like this? Let's have a look. So just say no. Let's just say delete, yes, and it's not doing anything. So if we delete that, it has deleted the car. Okay, so still not doing that there. Okay, so it is actually doing it, which is good. So let's have a look. Okay, so we've got a navigation manager. So what I'm going to do is I just want to put a breakpoint. We'll split this out and see if it's thrown into it, because we've got, if status is 200, so let's see if it's even getting into that as well. So I'll put a couple of breakpoints to spin up again. I just want to see what it's doing. Let's just bring that down there. Let's just do that. So it's doing the delete car. Is it because we're not waiting that? No, waiting delete car. Let's see what happened. Let's see what it's supposed to be doing. So let's go back, do debug. We'll put some breakpoints in now as well. We'll do debug, start new instance. Okay. So we've got a web UI here. Let's go to cars and do delete and say yes. Oh, it's not even showing up breakpoints. Interesting. It is, hang on, no, it is, hang on. So is it 200? It is. Oh, it did do it that time, hang on. Yes. Oh, does not exist. Okay, no, it's not. Ah! Okay, so it is sort of doing it. We are back, but it's not reloading the cars. Right, so why is it? Ah! Of course. We shouldn't need to do that. We just need to, because it's changed, it's not. What I'm going to do, I've got an idea here. It's to do with the state within this, the function. So let's put this in here. What I'm going to say is that's where you're going to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to expand this out and see, why is it not navigating? We'll have a look at that. So it's just not navigating, well it is, but it's just not updating it when it goes in. So let's just put that in there and just do save. But at least it's deleting. So what I think we ought to do next is we can spin that up and check it out, but that will do it. So it is actually going through and navigating. It's just not updating it on the navigate. So let's have a look at, let's go back to our page over here. So it says on initialize, get cars async. Yeah, so it's getting the cars, yada yada yada, async, brings it across because we're awaiting it, but we're kind of not doing that with that. So let's create a very simple new razor component. Let's call this add razor component car detail dot razor, and do add, and then we'll create a partial class, add class car detail dot cs, do add, and in the cars we kind of just want this form up here. We've got the delete at the top level there, so let's just do that, and let's go into there. Yeah, and let's have a look. So we're going to want that. So what we want is we want a bit of this. So let's just copy that, and let's go into car detail razor. I think what we're going to do is we'll keep this simple for now. So let's go into the razor. We don't want any of, we want the root. So what this is going to pass back is at page, and call this car detail. And it's going to pass in ID, what's that? And that's all you do there. And page title equals edit. Okay, and then what we'll need is we're going to do give class equals row. We're going to style this one up a bit, and we'll add more styling later. We'll give class equals whole, and do that, and we're just going to say h2, and this is going to be edit car. Okay, so we've got that, and we need a notification in here as well, so we're just going to go to our cars up here. We're going to put, we want modal. We're going to go away from our main notification on this one. So we'll have our, let's declare our things at the top. It's going to plain, so we don't have that, but we'll put that in a minute. And we'll have a div class equals row, div class equals whole, like that, put that in there. And we're going to have a form this time, so we're going to have an element of edit form modal, and we have a model equals at we'll just put car on invalid submit. Then we want to say handle failed submit, and then we also want on valid submit at handle valid submit. Okay, and then all we want to do here is we just want our form elements. So go back here. We're not going to worry too much about all of our bits here for now. We're not going to worry about our additional fields. We'll put them in later. Okay, so we've got that there. So its bind value is our car is what we want is that. And we take that out and we say dot make, and we have to add in there. So saying this is a different way of doing it. You could do load parameters. So let's copy that out, copy that to there, and we want that. I'm going to say at car dot no car shape dot model. Okay, and the only thing we want to do left on this is a submit button. You could do it as on click. In fact, you don't need to have it. You can have it. This is just a form, but you could have it on clicks as a more of an on click without submits, or say type equals button, and it's a type submit, and we're going to say we're not going to end click because that's going to handle that. Value, that's a button, yeah, value equals, well, it's not value on the button, you don't have that, and we're going to say that, we don't need that, and we're going to say save. This is more additional forms for me. So let's go through and bring some of this in. So if we look at our cars, let's create partial class. And what we need to do is we need to inject like we did on here. So we want car service. We don't need the notification. So let's copy that out. We're going to need that. Where's the cars? It's going to be a type of car, so we do need this, but we don't want it as where is it, car detail, put that, but we don't want an I enumerable, we just want a singular, and we're just going to get this, take that out, we don't want a list, we just want new DTO, and say car DTO. Okay, so let's go initialize that. So we've got a model car now, it doesn't exist in the current context. Car detail, yeah. That's that. Okay, so we need our functions next. That's the next thing. So let's have a look. Let's get our functions. So this is where we're going to need more in our service again now. So what we want now is we've got another one in our service called AS07.04.24. So like added, and we're going to need a new response in here, which is class, and do get our response .cs, and that inherits the base response, and all it's going to pass here is public DTO car. Got it. So then we don't have that there, we've got a car response there, so let's go back to our service up here, and this is public pass, and this is get response, car singular. Okay, done. So let's plumb that in. We just need the actual method inside our service. Yes, because we'll implement it. So we're just going to copy this, and it's very similar. So we'll copy this out, bring it down here. KS 07.04.24 method added, and we just want to get car async, and it's going to say int async int ID. Then we say using string interpolation, and it's not going to serialize as a list, so we can get rid of that, and we can get rid of that. Now what we can say here is we're not going to bring back an get car response, but a get car response. We come up to here, change that there. Now we need a failed validate, another method in here. I'm going to have a method in there. I tell you, I'm going to leave the comments out because we're trying to do so much here, and I just think it's going to take X in the video. So obviously do all your comments as I've been doing. So if we go to the file response handler, we're going to borrow this one as its closest, and we're going to copy this down to here, paste that in there, change that to get, that into there, go back into here, and that's it. There you go, so you've got that. So within this bit, within our car service, that's going to do that, and it's not cars, it's listed as a car DTO. We're going to pass car there. Okay, so we've got our server method in there. So we've got a delete there. Let's go back. We've got all those things there. So let's go back to car detail. So what we've done so far is we've got a car here, and we're not going to have that. We're going to keep it simple as that. So the first thing you need to do is, as soon as we do that, is you're going to need a parameter as well of ID, and it's a type of string. Parameters are passed. Parameter are passed to string, and it's going to be public string ID. Get, set, there you go. So what I'm trying to do is keep this as simple as possible. So if we go and say, as soon as we load the page up, protected async override task on the, let's remember how to spell this, line, initialized, is it initialized async, that's a method, it's going to do that. And this is as soon as it loads, body, okay, that's fine. Right in there, do a try, and do patch, which you may want to code up in a bit more detail. EX later, and this is going to be called get car async, get car. We'll just call it get car. Get car. And then we're going to come down to here and we're going to say private async void get car. And what does it need to do? Well, it needs to basically go and get the car. So let's say try. And let's have a look. Let's have a look if we go to cars. So that's kind of like, add, okay. So we're just going to borrow this effectively. We're just going to borrow that because it's in the essence of time. It's very similar. So do we have that in our car service, which we should have? We're just going to copy that over there and say that. But this time we're passing in the ID, so it's int dot parse. We're passing ID there. Okay, so that's our response. So our car is equal to response dot car. And we don't have a notification modal in this one, which I'm going to put in now. So we'll go back to our car's razor, or do we have it? We do, we just don't have it defined in the code behind. There's some kind of code behind, so let's just take that out because I got a bit doing that. So let's go back into here. We always put the minimum amount of code in, do bits as you go along. No, because we're doing it as an, well, that returns. Well, it's an interface. So ours car DTO. Let's say using cars.ui.core interfaces dot cars. Oh, you know, Like that. Okay, so initialize it there, that's all gone away. So, next bit we need to do is write some functions to say what's going on. So, let's have a look at this. Let's do the failed submit. And let's say here, let's do detected void handle. And we got it there. Okay, perfect. And it's just going to be like this. And we're just going to say, if there's a reason, we'll just put it here. And we'll say do that. And say, sorry, but there was a problem. You could expand this, but for the essence of time on this. Right, so let's have a look. So the next thing we need to do is actually key up successful bit if there's not a problem with it. So void handle valid submit. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this across here, do a try, and do that, and do patch. And you might want to log all this out when you get it all returned user input. So int.parse $ID is greater than 0. Then we want to say handle edit and you can pass the parameter in, and that's it. So we're just going to do that, and we'll say private handle edit. And let's have a look. What does it do? What does it do? So let's have it as protected as opposed to protected. Async. We're not going to return from this. We'll do that. And doing that. Okay, so we've got this all coded up, no errors. So what does it need to do? And this is where you might want to put validation, but for the essence of time, I'm just going to basically, let's have a look. Did we put it on base entity? Did we do a base entity for this? No, we didn't. So if we go to cars, yeah. Okay, so, okay. So what we should really do is we should continue this. So what we're going to do is we're going to correct this. Let's have cars. Let's put it in here. So let's do new item. Call this cars base number. Okay, so let's get this to inherit off this, or it's going to drive me bloody insane. Is that going to work? Can't find it. Or is it because we can't extend from it? We should be able to. One error, where is the error? Yep, okay, can't find it. So let's say using cars UI dot was it under handlers dot cars. Okay, this is going to bug me otherwise. So what we're going to do is you could inject a validation handler. There's plenty of ways of doing this, but for the essence of time, we're not using any database like it, we're just going to whack that in there. And that's, we haven't got notification mode on here. Okay, so we'll pass it in. We'll pass it in. We'll change our function. We'll pass in this. And we'll say a type of notification modal. There you go. So I got that there. That's just going to pass it in, drop that across, off we go. So let's have a look. So we've got cars. We've got that. Okay. Let's just take that out a second. Oh, we can't do that. It's not like that. Interesting. Right. Well, back in. Okay, it can't because it's not a part. They're just going to work. Interesting, it doesn't like. So let's go back to our cars first. Let's just copy this up and see if we can get this working. And doesn't like it, so we're just gonna have to either we'll do it just so we can get this working. What we're gonna do is just gonna leave that in there. We're not gonna do anything with it. So it's not liking the state has changed in inherited. So obviously partial classes get mapped up some of the house. So we could no, there is a way we could do this. Let's do it properly. Hang on. Let's do this. Let's go into interfaces. Let's create new item. Class. And we'll call this interface. Let's have a look. By cars base handler. It's not strictly to there. And the function we're going to have in here is just going to copy and make that public. Now we're just going to do this. And then come down here and do that. That. There you go. And this now inherits is linked to that. Okay, this is abstraction people. So then we go to configure services down here. And I want to bring in here. Just going to copy this and say add scope. We're going to take this and I'm going to show you the magic of injection, independence injection. That's going to go to this. So we'll rename this later. Okay. And what it means now is within our cars, we can inject it. So come down here and say inject. If it doesn't try to do inject and do private by cars. I just want to go here, move here, and we'll call it, can't find it. So let's do back into here. Let's go up here and do using that, or make sure you comment, keep saying this, and call this cars validation handler. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pass the modal in. So instead of having this here, we're going to do this. Got valid input and do that and say my notification modal. There you go. So we can now reuse the function. We can take this one out, drop it out there. And it still can be about okay, let's take that out. Fish. Done. So that was a bit speedy coding, but what we've effected is we can reuse our code in the other bit. So let's copy this because quite no, before we do that we need to basically add or edit. So if we go to our service, where's our service gone? So let's have a look at our service. And what does an edit do? So edit just passes in the DTO. So are we keyed up for that? So let's have a look. let's build out a service. So we need the I service first. So we need to get the edit car response. Edit add class and call this edit car response. Okay, and that's going to extend from the base response. Hang on, come on, my mouse is playing up, I do apologise. And we're going to do that, and we're going to say public full updated. Get set there. Okay, done. So that's that there. Then we go back to car service. We're going to need an update. But have we got a UHTTP client? No, we don't. So we need to do that as well. So we need to do that. And we need to extend that as well. So let's go to put. So both post and put. Let's do have public task. And it's just going to be a type of HTTP response. And we're going to say put. Done. So now we can go back to our cars service and we want to say that's it, and what we're passing in is we're going to be passing that in on our service and do that, and we're going to pass it in on our service. So let's do that. So we're going to pass it in, pass all of that in, off we go effectively. Right, pass that in. So we're going to copy this one because it's quite similar, so just do that and do edit car response, edit car, done. Okay, so we've got that there, that's in our client, which we want it to do, which we've put that in there. Then we want to go to, and that's just going to extend that, so that's not a problem. That's going to do that. Let's go into here and let's try and code this up. So if we go to cars, we're going to copy this because it's very, very, very similar. So if we go back to our car detail, but what we're going to pass in here, and we need an ID, and yes, we need the cars validation handler injected in this as well. So we're going to find our cars validation. It is actually a validation, so feel free to rename this in your own code project. We'll keep all the parameters together. We'll do that, and we've got no make and model. So what we do have though is a car DTO. We're just going to simply say, so do we need to do that? We don't, because we've got a car. So what we're going to do is we're going to pass the car in there. Okay, is it a valid car? Why isn't it liking that? Not liking that. Yeah, I know it doesn't exist. And this is where what we're going to do is we're just going to say down here, copy that across into there. Make model, let's set a new one because we've got no ID on this, so let's just say valid car, new car, cars DTO. I don't know, it's a car DTO. No, it's because it's an interface, doesn't like it. So what we'll do is we'll say car dot make car dot model. And what we're going to say is it gets the car to that, so it's got an ID. I tell you what we're going to do is, yeah, we'll leave that as it is for now, and we're going to say dot edit car async, pass that in, and we'll just create. No, this is wrong. Let's leave it as a car. That's gonna. Okay, we've got navigation manage complaining at us. Can't be found. Let's go using. It is a type of R's DTO. Dyslexia. Okay, so we're nearly there. We're nearly there. So let's go back to the car's detail. Wherever it's gone. Cars. And it's navigation manager. We had it in here, so just going to borrow this. We want to inject navigation manager into car detail. And that should now bish that. So we've got 2 errors. What are the errors? Edit car async. Ooh. Okay, so it's similar to this. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this across. I'm going to come down here, and this is our last CRUD on our UI. We're just going to paste that in and say edit car edit, and this is going to be a put. This is using full rest, so it's very much the same. Now what do we get back? We don't get an int, we get a boolean, and it's edit car response. Edit car response. Of course, in the essence of time, you would, and we need this in our validation handler, and we're just going to copy. Doesn't actually matter because they're pretty much all the same. I'm going to bring that down here, and we're going to say failed edit car, and do edit car response, which we have. So we've got that there, and then the actual validation handler. We're just going to, it's all pretty much the same, so just going to copy that, do that, and do edit car response, and do that. Okay, and we're just going to pass that down there. Okay, that's this. We go back to our base handler. That's doing that. That's doing that. That's doing that. So let's go back to car detail. Doesn't pass back a car. It's type. So let's change it back to interface. We'll correct that later. We'll check that later. Okay, so, and that is, yes, we'll sort that out in a minute. So, got that there, to our response, and it's dot. Do we have an edit car response? Yes, we do. Updated. Go to updated, deserialize as a bool. Yes, to set that edit car response. Done. We've got no errors. Bish, bish. But we are going to get an error, and I'll tell you why in a minute, because get car async ID, get that, car DTO, pass that back. Okay, so we don't have any errors, but we do need to do one last thing to tie it all in. Okay, so let's create another button. Let's create a href and we're going to straight this out. We say href equals slash cars detail, and it's going to be slash car dot id, and we'll call it class equals b. It's just showing you how you can do different types altogether. And we're going to do that and say edit. Okay, this is mixing and matching, so that's a button click. So if we now run this up and see what we've got, debug, start new instance, and do that, and do UI, debug, it comes up. Okay, so if we go to our cars now, do edit, suppose it car detail, I may have got that wrong, so let's go back over here, let's go look at our page. Okay, yeah, it's me, it's you, so stop that again, call it cars detail, and not car, so let's change this to car detail. Let's spin it up again and see what we get. Start new instance. Our web APIs run over there. So let's do debug, start new instance. Now let's go to there. Bring that in. Do edit. Just thinking about it. Has it done it? Okay, didn't load it up. Didn't load it up. Why has it not got our car? Okay. So, let's have a look. Car detail. So it's not doing that for some reason. So let's keep looking for a minute. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. I think it's because it's not getting the car initially. It's 200 status change, so I think we need to override the method for that. So override that. And let's put a debug in, see if it tries to get it into there. And let's spin that back up. A web API, debug, partner instance. Let's have a look. Go over to here. Cars, give it a second. Do edit. So it's getting the car now. There you go. So it's just because we haven't overridden the methods. If I say 8 series and do save. Oh, we've got an error. Oh, let's see what we got. So, okay, so we've got something not right. So, if class ID, why is it not doing that? Edit new car. Is it coming down here? Just where you use your breakpoints, go back to your code, do edit. We know that's working now, so we're going to leave that as it is. Continue. Do save. It's not response 200. So why has it said? And just put one in there, we'll see. False. Didn't update it. Okay, I think I know why it didn't update it, so we'll have a look at why that's not working. But that's what you get, and this is what you're building up to. You're building your code up to this so that you can actually have it. So, and I think what I've done is I've not, yeah, this is because there's no matching method. So in theory, because we're using parameters, so let's go into here. And if we go into the service, and what we need to do is we need to say var id equals car dot car id, and then we're going to use string interpolation again. Pass the ID in there, and we need to put / there because you're confused. So you could pass it. There's different ways to do this, whether you pass the ID on the URL or whether you do it in an object to pass in the body. So you just have to have a play about. So let's go back up to here. Let's spin our web API back up. Debug start new instance, and do debug start new instance. No, let's see what we got. We got an error. So what's the error? Expected. And it would help if we put that in. Let's just do stop. I would like to save that. Let's see if we get some of this. So debug, start new instance. That's going to spin a web API up. It didn't have any error. It wasn't particularly an error. So let's have a look. Okay, so here's our web API. If we go to cars, click edit, do 8 series, do save. Okay, so it's come over to our web API. So this is exciting. Okay, so it's not changed it, or has it? But you get the idea. So that's our full CRUD. So it's not actually updating that. So we'll work it out. So let's have a look. Let's pass it on to there. So it is kind of doing it, but it's not updating the database. So what you would then do is go back into your web API, and it is actually getting in there. So what is it? So it's valid there. It's passing the DTO in. So it's passing request DTO. So it is passing in, but it's not actually updating it for some reason. So there is probably a bit of playing about you need to do to get it's existing car. It passes the request off. So it is make. So it's just not updating the database. So that's down for you guys to work up. Hang on, DTO. Card. So it's got the car. It's doing all of this, which is good. Then it's not saving it, so we just need to work out why that's not doing that. But existing car, that's really down to you lot to figure it out and work out why it's not working, but there'll be a reason for it, so we can have a look. So just do that again and choose 8 series and let's put another breakpoint in there. Oh, no, it's not got it. Okay, so it's not like in make. Model. Okay, so it is doing that, so let's do that. Oh, it's not setting that up. That's what it is. So yeah, so you'll have to debug it all, but you get the idea. So that is what it's doing now. We've got full CRUD inside of our UI, and you'll have to experiment a bit as to why this is not working. It's just basically saying that that is null. It's not picked it up, so obviously some reason it's not passed that across, which you can play about with to get it working. So it's obviously not passing something across from one point to another. So yeah, just keep playing about until you get to it, and we may do this as another video. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. And we may do a bit of housekeeping next one, but I'm quite conscious how long this one is. So thank you for watching. But that's the full CRUD built up. There's a few glitchy bits which we'll pick up in another video, and we'll get them polished off. So thank you very much again.